Yo, real quick, before we actually get into the schmicks of things, well, I guess two things really. Number one, today we're going to talk about Mydei's existence and why his presence in Star Rail bothers me, but like not like a bother, just kind of like a normal bother, but it's still pretty worrisome, if that makes sense. Whatever. Number two, we got today's sponsor. Are you tired of losing? Are you tired of losing those 50/50s to bullshit? Ooh, you're about to miss the character because you're just a few jades short. What if I told you there's a way to get those missing jades for less than what's in your hand? Nani? Introducing Loot Bar. Save big compared to official prices with discounts and coupons. Well, don't just take my word for it. Check out these happy players who have already saved with Loot Bar. Recharging is simple and secure. Just use your account ID and 5 big booms. Stellar jades dumped into your basket like eggs. Hey, look at that. Now your Mydei's ready to punch someone's balls. Level up your characters and weapons without breaking the bank. Get your jades delivered cheaper and faster at Loot Bar with delivery in record time. Visit Loot Bar today. Thank you to Loot Bar for sponsoring today's video. Back to you, Tom. Now that we're back, because apparently I'm Tom in this whole schematic that future me made up. Future Pat. The other me. I literally just mentioned Mydei at the beginning of this video and like why he's a problem to me, but can you guys watch my Mydei real quick? I need to go walk my dog, so I just kind of want to know if he's doing anything he's not supposed to be. I'm gonna leave him. I'm gonna leave Mydei on. He's gonna do his own thing. Okay, Mydei's pretty self-sufficient at what he does. I just need to make sure that he doesn't, you know, like do anything crazy. Honestly, it's probably the team. Look, just hey, chill. Just watch my Mydei. I'll be right back.
Submit or die.
So we know how Mydei performs with a full-on offensive team. Yeah, no sustain, sustainless, if you will. And while I typically feel like that's okay, like that's appropriate, he should definitely be able to do that. I think one of my issues that I kind of have with this is, are we going to get another situation like Blade? And honestly, all I really mean by that is I'm trying to figure out where Star Rail is going in terms of like the game. We've seen a lot, we've heard a lot, we know the you know, the dreams, if you will. But let me see what I can do here. I just want to play him, get a good perspective of what's going on, so that we have a full understanding, right, of who's doing what. My Pela, no, my Pela does not have the thingy on her, which kind of needs. He kind of needs the thingy. So Pela, do work maybe, or favor. There it is. There it is. Okay. Nice. All right, and now we just get rockets. Right? Mydei's gonna do his thing, you know, because we're gonna be able to boost up. Look at that. Wait. Okay, no, we can take that. We could definitely take that. And then I want to do a little bit of boom boom bop. Look at that. Okay, I feel like I can kind of just let this play out, and then God damn, that did a lot of damage. Wait a minute, time out, bro. Hold on. Thundy, bring up meaty. Hey. Wait, Mydei. All right, Mydei does work. I'm not gonna hold you, but it just you I don't know how to explain it. I really don't, and I've been having a hard time. This is why I didn't do anything for CE server. Mydei makes me feel indifferent, if you will. We can pause the gameplay for just a moment, but I mean, like, you guys will probably still see the gameplay going. I don't know. Mydei makes me feel indifferent for just a tad bit when it comes to not just him, but Star Rail as a whole. Right now, the main issue that I'm having with Mydei isn't that he's bad. It's not that he can't be used. It's not that he's not viable. It's nowhere near this sort. In fact, I think Mydei, after experimenting with him a little bit more, I do feel like he's strong. I think he's one of the strongest DPS that we've had in a long time. And I feel like the same thing that we said with Blade, right? Where when we had Blade was seen as one of the top tier DPS at the time because he was so self-sufficient. Blade was able to heal himself, he was able to buff himself, he was able to do damage, and he was able to still take advantage of some of the DPS buffers that we had available to us, i.e. the Powerpuff Girls. But he always had something that was a little lacking, and that was specifically an HP buffer. I do believe we had my boy Smack talk about this a little bit ago, where he made an entire video on I think it was a vampiric state, where it would pretty much buff up these HP type characters, and it'd be phenomenal. Like if they put something like that in the game, that'd be crazy good for a character like Blade and now Mydei. And so the problem still presents itself today, but I think the main issue again with Mydei or with Blade or everything in the matter isn't them specifically, it's where the direction of the game is going. So now that I'm not playing the game and trying to talk to you at the same time, let me fully elaborate what I'm trying to say. Currently, I think Star Rail is in a rut. I think that the current state of the game is not healthy. I don't mean this in terms of the story. I don't mean this in terms of the specific monetization practices, although that's bad too. And I've talked about that plenty before, but I guess we could talk about it again if need be. However, specifically what I'm talking about, and exclusively what I'm talking about, although I might mention some other stuff, but it is the state of the game, the game itself, the turn-based RPG. Now, I've seen a number of videos over the course of the last month, I think, talking about or expressing the same sentiment that I've had for months. I've been saying the same thing since back in October, maybe September, and I never got around to making a video on it. It is what it is, right? I'm lazy about stuff like that. However, these other videos were able to find a way to portray pretty much exactly what I was trying to get at. And this only became worse once I started playing Metaphor. Now, I told you guys this like a month ago. I started playing Metaphor like on my off time, in the bed, on the couch, whatever, it didn't matter, right? I just started playing a bunch of other turn-based RPGs, and I've said the same thing when we went over this and I talked about like what would make Star Rail better, and it's the fact that Star Rail is missing basic mechanics that a turn TRPG should have. Blocking, which some of you guys, this isn't a blame game. I got a couple comments in that video, which was very weird. This is weird to me. Some of you guys like, you don't want a block button. I don't want a block button, and the specific reason was that I don't want a block button because I don't want any more like things to think about in the game. I just want to be able to click auto and it does it on its own. I want to be able to like mash only basic attack or only skill ult, and that's all I'm worried about. And I thought that was crazy to think about, but again, not a blame game. I just found it very weird not having these mechanics in your game. The ability to block, the ability to use items, or repositioning characters, having a front row or back row, anything you can think of or experienced in a TRPG probably applies to what I'm talking about now. Mydei not only removing your ability to play the game further, and while I totally get it, we're probably already going to play on auto anyway, so it's kind of whatever. However, it's still removing one of the only options you have. And I think that's going backwards, right? Taking away the little options you do have available to you to further reduce the amount of decision making that you could do or make is a problem. This is only going to get worse in the future once we get a character like Castress. Castress is going to come out, she's going to do big dick whatever, and now we're incentivized. I guess this is part of the monetary scheme. Now we're going to be more incentivized to potentially pull for Mydei, Castress, Tribby, and Sunday, or whoever else comes out. And I'm almost positive we're going to get a Sunday rerun pretty soon here. It's going to be a very unfortunate timing, if you will, whenever we do get that Sunday rerun. But moving beyond that and going more specifically into, I don't know what's up with me in that word today, damn, going into more detail about where I feel like the game is put in a position of, right, me rambling. It's hard for me to dictate exactly where Star Rail wants to go in terms of their future or their direction with the game. And even to a degree, right? Okay, let me explain. I say this because it's easier for me to see this with Zenless. I can tell you the direction that Zenless is going. It's not as confusing. I can tell you the same thing for a game like Wuthering Waves. If I were so deep into the game, if I was actively playing the game, it's easier. Even if I'm not, I can literally go look at Wuthering Waves and tell you it's easier to see a direction that they're trying to go versus not going. Now, who has its own issues that it's dealing with? The community is already discussing that or whatever's going on, right? Not, and you guys hear issues, oh my God, the game's bad. No, I'm not saying the game's bad. I'm just saying like everything has something going on at this current state in time that people are addressing or talking about. Power Krail, oh my goodness, bro. Power Krail, that's crazy. Star Rail has power creep. How did I just, in my brain, brother, I had to have been thinking or yapping at the speed of light, because power Krail, power creep, Star Rail, how did that? I don't know, dude. You can tell I haven't had my coffee this morning. Star Rail is going through an immense amount of power creep right now. No matter how many times we talk about what a player can or can't do in order to mitigate this effect or help themselves better their account, this is going to be shrugged off. And eventually this is all going to come down to blaming the developer, not the game, not the player, whatever the case may be. Having a character like Mydei enter the game does not help remove that factor. And while I don't think Star Rail or the developers are trying to remove the whole power creep nonsense that we have going on right now, I do feel like it should be in their best interest to try to alleviate some of the things going on at the bare minimum. Because if in the event something were to happen, and let's say that we do get casters, who I'm assuming is going to come around or on the anniversary of Star Rail, let's say we get some type of financial packages or bonuses or top-ups or whatever, and then they slam us with another 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 banners at the same time, who cares? If all of these things were to happen, if everything were to line up, this would incentivize players to grab what they can and potentially prepare for whatever's coming in the future. The problem is we don't know what's coming. I can look at enemy design in Star Rail and I can say, oh yeah, this is probably going to happen. Like with the new, I always forget the guy's name, but Nicodor or whatever. I said it last time too, the guy with the scythe, right? That guy, all these new designs coming in Star Rail could lead us towards, hey, the game is trying to hit a lot harder, which we do see, right? We have mechanics in the game where they have these one shots, where they have these abilities to line themselves up with a lot of power or a specific mechanic. And if you don't stop them from doing that, then you're going to get clapped up really hard. And yeah, some characters like your Ho-Ohs, like your, even Luocha to be fair, but your immense healers, they're able to help you. We were in a healing meta at the original 1.0 of the game. We moved closer towards 2.0. We became a shield meta, and now we're going back to a healer meta. But this doesn't essentially help the player because the player is bouncing back and forth. We still don't have any 4 stars. We haven't had a 4-star. I checked the date on it. Someone actually added up all the stuff. I was counting in patches. Guys, it's been 6 going on 7.5 months now since we received a new 4-star. And based off what we've seen from the drip feeding or whatever the case may be, we still aren't getting a new 4-star. Can you imagine going almost a year, over half a year without a single new 4-star character? I would be decimated if I was a free-to-play player. Like if I was purely free-to-play, I'd be so angry at this. You know what I mean? So I understand the free-to-play players having such vitriol towards the game right now, because it puts you in a position where you see something like this with Mydei and you see like, hey, I don't need a sustain. And this goes into what I was talking about with incentivizing people to do stuff, right? I don't need a healer. I don't need a shielder. I can just grab Mydei because Mydei is immortal. He's going to heal himself or revive himself an infinite amount of times. And then all I have to do is press auto and he'll do whatever he wants, as you guys saw, and he's going to clear the board. If I were free to play, I would immediately be looking at Mydei. But 2 things are going against Mydei right now. 1, he's not a woman. I know, silly, but I promise you that's a legitimate reason why people wouldn't pull Mydei in the gacha space. And 2, because of the blade scenario. If we don't have any support for an HP based character, the same thing is going to happen that happened to Blade. It might happen slower, but we've seen Star Rail is ramping up how fast they do stuff at this point. I don't know, dude. And then the whole, like, I don't really want to talk about it, but the global passive thing is kind of going to happen eventually. That bothers me. It doesn't bother me enough to the point where I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I boycott Star Rail, hate the game. No, I would dislike Star Rail for a bunch of other stuff that has nothing to do with the global passive. But it bothers me in a sense that if I were in that position, or even if I'm trying to spin, grabbing that, what does that open the door to? Going beyond that point, we talk about what's happening with Star Rail, with the, again, monetization practices that are happening or have been happening since 1.4 of Zenless. That's my time period for that. It could have been before or after, but since around 1.4 when Zenless released, right, we got a bunch of changes for Genshin, we got a bunch of changes for Star Rail, and we got a huge change for Zenless. Zenless was in the green, it was super positive. Star Rail and Genshin were the red. It was very negative receptions towards or from the community. Both of these changes had similar effects from each side of the community, right? And so in Genshin's case, when they were like, hey, we're going to give you these busted characters, we're going to give you everything you want, but you're not going to get any of the free rewards until these characters go away, which incentivized players to blow their load immediately in order to get what they wanted. And they had to have characters that were essentially like neck and neck, right? Like they were best friends, if you will. Star Rail has the same thing happen to it, just on a lesser degree, but still pretty threatening. And now we're in a position where, like, if you didn't grab Sunday, this happened with what, Aglaya. If you didn't have Sunday, you have to skip Aglaya. Oh my God, if you don't have Sunday, wait, if I don't get Sunday, what about Casters? Is Casters gonna want it? All this kind of stuff is happening right now. Even with Mydei, oh man, you don't have Sunday. Where's all the outrage for what happened with Aglaya but towards Mydei. Oh, well, Mydei doesn't need Sunday. This motherfucker has like 9,000 energy costs. It's really not 9,000. I'm just making that up because I think it's funny, but he has a high energy cost as well. And being able to pump out his ultimate, especially if you're running no sustain, to keep yourself alive, but incentivize you to have some characters like Sunday in your account. But if you don't have Sunday, what about Robin? What about RMC, which everyone gets for free? But did you build your RMC? Are you like me? And you didn't play the game, bucko? No RMC for you. There's tons of different factors that go into what or who you can use on your account. But at the end of the day, none of this dictates or points me towards a proper direction on what I can see with the game. And I think that's kind of like the gist of what I'm saying. I know that was a really long gist. I apologize about that. Like I said, I haven't had coffee, so I'm just rambling. If you genuinely don't know what the fuck I said in this video, I don't blame you. The first time that I don't blame you, I don't blame you. I think I just want to rant. I really just want to rant. Star Rail's kind of pissing me off. And like watching a game that you genuinely like. I don't want to say love. I wouldn't marry Star Rail, right? But I genuinely do like Star Rail. Watching them make decisions that I can't tell are positive, they're not good, because I can clearly see their negative decisions, but I can't tell the direction they're going or why they're making these decisions. These decisions, these changes, everything happening feels like, I tweeted about this, it feels like the Genshin team has migrated over to the Star Rail team, and whatever is being made or done is from their perspective. Like they're just running it into the mud for whatever reason. As a creator, this sucks. As a player, this sucks. I don't really think there's a win-win. I know a lot of people are trying to dip off when Casterus gets here. What do you do after that? Not like playing a game, right? Like what game do you go to after that? No, I don't mean that. I mean, what do you do? Let's say you stuck around for Casterus. Let's say Casterus thing happens, the global effect happens, whatever. What can Star Rail genuinely do that would somehow blow everyone's mind, right? Like how could they fix this, if you will, to the point where everyone is ecstatic about playing the game? You have people returning to the game, whatever. Because once you implement something like that, you can't really remove it, right? Like, I mean, you can, I guess, but that would be stupid. And then if they did it, would it only be a Casterus thing, further incentivizing or forcing players at that point to feel like they have to pull, like this is the only must pull in the game because she's the only one with something as detrimenting. Is that a word? I'm pretty positive it's a word. Did I use that word right? I have no idea. Whatever, it's the thing, right? Casterus has the thing. She's the only one that has it. What would they do beyond that point? This worries me, all right? At the end of the day, Mydei is cool. I think this character is nice, but I'm worried about not just Mydei's future, but Star Rail's future as a whole. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair for me to say. I'm gonna end the video. Smell you later.